Victims of the for-profit healthcare system have a right to defend themselves. I wanted to jump on the mic real quick and just talk a little bit about the recent murder of the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian something or other. It really doesn't matter. That's been happening. That's been getting covered by the media, and I think the ruling class is kind of shocked. And based on a lot of the media that I've been looking at, a lot of the mainstream media that I've been looking at, the comment sections are full of people. I mean, I'm looking at Fox News, right? I'm looking at right-wing sources, as well as left-wing sources. And no matter what source I look at, conservative, liberal, more radical, whatever, all the comments, literally on the Fox News video covering the story, all the comments were in one way or another justifying this guy's murder, talking about the way that they've had pain and suffering and fear and precarity imposed on them by this parasitic class of corporate profiteer-seeking middlemen who stand between human beings and the help that they need in their most desperate times and attempt to extract billions and billions of dollars out of them over the years. I mean, over 1 year, right? This is a cruel, disgusting, criminal enterprise that robs people of a human right and uses it as another vehicle for which to accumulate profit, exploit and extort regular working people, and fill their own motherfucking pockets. So while the ruling class itself is shocked and, oh, this is so terrible, send the police on a manhunt for whoever did this, regular working Americans know goddamn well this guy's a hero. This guy is a stand-in for all of our frustrations. And I'm talking as somebody who doesn't have health insurance, who's never been able to afford it, whose family's just been kicked off of Medicaid. I have a long family line of people who have been fucked over in their most desperate, fearful times by insurance companies. One of the sick aspects of the insurance companies is, well, first of all, the millions and millions of people who don't have it, you're just fucked. And I count myself among you. But for those that do have it, you pay exorbitant prices, premiums, month in, month out, for years and years and years and years. Many of us are, pay through our healthy years when we actually don't need it. And so that money you're giving those corporations, pure profit from you. And then the time comes when you need help. And what happens? You get charged again, a third time, a fourth time. And most importantly, and United Healthcare was the bottom of the barrel when it came to this, you get claims denied. So if you have to go do a little checkup, that'll be covered, right? It's pretty cheap for them. You've paid in, hundreds of times more than what it costs to pay for a checkup, so they'll pay for that. It's precisely at those moments when you are most desperate, when there's been a terminal illness diagnosis, a cancer diagnosis, a horrible accident, when you are emotionally stressed and in chaos and care about one thing and one thing only, making sure your loved one gets the motherfucking help they need, that these vampires will step in and start denying your claims because they know, one, you're not in an emotional, or social situation to be able to calmly deal with something like, oh, we can't cover this desperately needed procedure of your loved one that might result in their death or your bankruptcy afterwards. And two, they know that even if they're being illegal, even if they are denying a claim in an unjust way that violates the contract, that you are very likely to not have the financial wherewithal to be able to hire a legal team, go to court, risk losing that case, spend months and months and months in legal disputes with a huge corporation with a team of lawyers and billions of dollars. So even when they fuck you over, even when it's completely against their own rules, their own contract that you signed with them, they know that most of us won't have the ability to be able to take them to court. And even if we did have the ability to take them to court, the entire time that process is playing out, they're going to be extorting and exploiting and plundering you and your family. And now instead of the medical costs, you have to worry about the legal costs. And on top of the stress of a sick and dying loved one, you have to deal with the huge financial stresses of maybe losing your fucking house, maybe losing, and that's if you even fucking have a house. So while the ruling class sort of gasps audibly and every fucking law enforcement in New York City is hunting down this big bad villain, the people are celebrating. Because this guy enriched himself off the pain, the fear, the misery, the suffering, the precarity of regular motherfucking people. And when you see people on Fox News, people on the New York Post, reactionary, right-wing, conservative websites sounding exactly like the comment section of a Rev Left radio post when it comes to healthcare, it's stunning to live in a country where politicians don't run on that. We had Bernie out, and that was not acceptable. The Democratic Party made goddamn sure that that wasn't going to come to fruition. We had Obama messing around with the edges of the system, but doing nothing to displace the private insurance industry as a whole, and so we're still fucked. And aside from them, people don't even talk about it. Did Kamala, in this latest run, talk about universal health care, Medicare for all? She didn't fucking mention it. So isn't it odd in a quote-unquote democracy or a quote-unquote representative republic that one of the clearest things that the fucking people want across the entire political spectrum, one of the biggest albatrosses around a regular working class family's motherfucking neck, is medical bills and medical premiums and co-pays and all the bullshit you have to deal with? If we lived in a democracy, in a representative republic, wouldn't at least one party or one of the candidates running for high office use this obviously massively supported policy and go balls to the wall calling out these corporations and making enemies of these motherfucking vampires that 90% of people in this country fucking hate and have every right to do so? And yet you don't hear a single candidate talking about it. That's because, my dear friends, we live in an oligarchy. We live in the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. Your democracy is fake. It's an illusion. It's a mirage. They treat you like a child. My favorite metaphor for democracy in America is when a parent is driving a car and you have your little toddler in the back seat and you hand them a fake, toy steering wheel with a little beep beep button on it, horn on it, and they're sitting in their little chair pretending they're driving. That's the American voter. You think that you're in control of this system. You are not. Big money is. So even when you have a certain policy that 80, 90% of people want to see, it doesn't fucking happen. It's not even promised. I mean, we're used to politicians promising something and then not following through on it. They don't even bother promising it. So we are a country run, exploited, extorted by the rich, whether we're trying to buy groceries, whether we're trying to get access to health care, whether we're trying to pursue higher education. If you're not born rich and you don't have generational wealth, you're a fucking peasant. And everywhere you turn, some fat fucking pig is slipping his hand in your pocket to take a little bit more out of it. Oh, there's an inflation crisis. Let's gouge the grocery prices. Oh, people need health care, right? Okay, awesome. We can set up a barrier to entry. We can charge them monthly fucking payments. And then when they really fucking get in trouble and they're fucking dying and their whole family's like crying and they're shattered emotionally, that's when we strike. That's when we deny their claim. These motherfuckers would charge you to breathe the air in the atmosphere if they could. If they could find a way to prop up a barrier of entry to being able to breathe fucking oxygen, and they still might, and charge you for every fucking breath you take or a monthly subscription, they would fucking do it. The American people are fed up. But the American people are also completely subordinated by ideology and the ruling elite and the two-party system. So we know that we won't get any change when it comes to the voting booth. We know we have no power over our own lives whatsoever and no hope on the horizon of anything changing. And so what can we do except sit back and have a little fun when a sick fucking psychopathic CEO gets gunned down or a billionaire tries to go to the bottom of the ocean and gets blown the fuck up? Those are our little moments of catharsis. And then the ruling class wags their finger at us. You guys are sick, man. You guys are sick in the head. You know what's sick in the head? Leveraging people's want for their loved ones to survive in order to extract profit out of them. You know what's sick in the head? Making billions and billions and billions of dollars and denying people's medical claims that have paid you for years, sometimes decades, faithfully, so that you can bump up that profit margin a little bit more. Now, if you shoot one person in Manhattan, you're a murderer. We're on a manhunt for you. You murder 100,000 for profit because you're a CEO of a healthcare industry corporation or a pharmaceutical corporation or whatever the fuck. Well, that's just free. That's just the free market, baby. That's just capitalism. Surely that's not a crime. That's freedom. That's liberty. That's what the founding fathers died for. But your mom, your dad, your brother, your spouse, your sister, somebody you love, your best friend, dies, can't make it to your wedding because they died, because a claim was rejected, or you do get help, but now you have to sell your home, everything you've worked your entire fucking life for, in a society where owning a home is harder and harder and harder every fucking millisecond. That's sick. That's a crime, but that's normalized. Now, your tax dollars will go all day long to bombing babies, murdering toddlers, dropping 2,000-pound bombs on schools and refugee camps, killing people's grandmother and grandfather, murdering disabled people in Palestine and around West Asia and anywhere else the U.S. wants to start a war. Your tax dollars, by the trillions, go to murdering millions of people in Iraq and Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, funding proxy wars around the planet. And if anyone has the gall to say, hey, maybe instead of using trillions of dollars to murder people around the planet for profit and geopolitical hegemony, we actually ask for a return on our money in the form of healthcare, housing, education, the things, humans need to survive, investing our tax dollars that we work for, the wealth we create as workers, to go to increasing the quality of life for the people that actually make this fucking system run in the first place? Well, that's socialism, man. What are you, some sort of Stalinist extremist? No. Your tax dollars are going to go to pay for trillions of dollars of wars forever. And at home, you're going to be ruthlessly exploited and robbed at every fucking turn for every basic need that you have, whether it's housing, education, food and groceries, or healthcare. And you're going to shut the fuck up and you're going to take it. More than that, you're going to wave an American flag. You're a patriot, right? We're all one family after all. We're all Americans, right? Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. We're all Americans. That's whose side you're really on, right? Now shut the fuck up and get back to work, because Israel needs more fucking weapons to drop on the heads of fucking infants. So yeah, when this fucking pig gets shot down by a hero in Manhattan, apologies to us if we don't faint and fall on the ground, clutching our pearls. In fact, we like to see it. Fuck that guy. He made his entire living off the misery of others. Fuck him. He's a criminal. And the guy who shot him, we don't know his motives, but we do know one thing. On his bullets that he buried into this fucking capitalist pig, he had the words deny, defend, and depose. Those words, the title of a book about how the healthcare industry is a fucking scam meant to destroy your family for profit. So, although we don't know the motivations, and honestly, hopefully we never find out, because if we find out, that means he got caught. I support our troops. There's a pretty good indication here that he is somebody who has been fucked over by the system, either directly or somebody he loves. By the United Healthcare system, which, just go read the comments of any story anywhere, and you'll see people by the hundreds telling you that they too had their claims denied for basic access to basic healthcare, dental, vision, a procedure that they needed to survive or make their quality of life better, that was denied. And why do they deny? Because that makes them more profit. If they can bring in more than they have to put out, that makes their profit margins higher. And if you're not willing to fucking rake regular people over the goddamn coals and destroy lives to increase that profit margin, well, you don't have what it takes to be an American CEO. And if you are a CEO of a company like United Healthcare, and I don't know, you take mushrooms one night and wake the fuck up to the insane fucking things that you're doing, and you decide, hey, I'm in a position of power. I just had a revelation about not being an evil sack of shit. Let's make some reforms to this company. Let's lower our profit margins and make sure that we take care of our customers. What's going to happen? The board is going to fire your dumb ass and replace you with somebody who's willing to sink their fangs into the necks of regular people. So on one hand, there's a obviously individual failure. These people as individuals are evil. They know what they're doing. On the other hand, there's a structural evil. That this is not merely incentivized. This is required to get to that position in the first place and for these companies to perpetuate themselves. And so they're going to keep doing it. And so when we see this reaction by the American people, this is another obvious signal that the vast majority of people across the planet, no matter what their other political beliefs are, because they're a human being with a beating heart that will one day die and they love other people and their family, friends, whatever, just by virtue of that, by virtue of being a human being in the fucking world, in the cosmos, on planet Earth, no matter what other political ideals they might have, they're celebrating the death of an obvious parasite. Now, this guy didn't have to do that. He didn't have to spend his life like that, in the dogged, psychopathic search for more and more and more money. He had choices to make. And he chose not only to be the CEO of a company, which profit maximization is the goal, not only to be the CEO of a healthcare company, where your profit is premised on the brutalization of other regular working people, but he decided to be the CEO of the worst of the healthcare fucking companies. Of the company that, compared to all other companies, has the highest rate of denying claims. So literally, personally enriching himself off the devastation, suffering, pain, immiseration, and murder of other human beings. We don't have a right to fight back? If somebody stands between you and your loved one's ability to survive, and they prevent your loved one from surviving until you pay them money, until you stuff green paper into their pockets, then they'll give you the thumbs up and let your loved one live, or let you keep your home, or whatever the fuck. That's violence. That's a crime. If somebody came to my house and tried to hurt my loved ones, I would kill them. That's what they're doing. They're just not coming to your house. They're sitting in a skyscraper in Manhattan. They're doing the same thing. So if I can defend somebody coming to my house to hurt my loved ones for free, right? Let's some fucking asshole wants to hurt people. Don't we have a right to defend our loved ones from somebody trying to hurt them, also hurting them for money? Isn't that another crime on top of the murder or the imposition of suffering, the assault on regular people? You're not only doing the crime of assaulting or hurting or murdering, you're also robbing people while you do it. That's like a felony, right? That should be a felony. It's free market capitalism. So I think what we have to do, use this as a moment to highlight not just the injustice of the healthcare system, the implicit, torturous, sociopathic logic of capitalism itself. We have to tie it to the where our tax dollars actually go instead of going to places like universal healthcare. And honestly, whoever this guy is that did this shooting, he needs to be made into a hero, a folk hero of the people. And it should disturb the ruling class. It disturbs us what they do. Any millionaire from the Democratic, Republican Party, corporate media, all these people that manufacture consent for many things, including the ongoing genocide of Palestinians, want to wag their finger and get on their moral high horse about the sanctity of human life. I was watching Breaking Points, and even they right? This sort of dissident alternative news channel. Even they have to start this off like, hey, we're all adults. We don't support this. This violence is crazy. But here's why it might happen. This violence isn't crazy. I support this. It's self-defense. And anybody who has supported things like the Iraq War, the state of Israel, what's going on in Syria right now, the toppling of Libya, or any number of horrific crimes against humanity that were all justified, given the green light. You know, if you were against those things, you were gaslit as crazy or a traitor or something else, right? All those people, they want to act like the death of one criminally insane fucking guy who hurt people for money. That's where they draw the line. Blowing babies up in cribs in Palestine? Though that's just, Israel has a right to defend itself, right? But killing a fucking CEO who's made billions in profit off the misery of fellow Americans? No, that's just sick. The left is sick if they're celebrating this. What the hell's going on? Fuck you. So, I don't know. I just wanted to jump on the mic, have some moment of catharsis for myself, maybe some moment of catharsis for you listening, because if you listen to a show like this, I guarantee most of you, like me, born and raised in the working class, that you've been on the wrong end of this disgusting, parasitic, vampiric so-called industry standing between us and our families and our basic human fucking right to access healthcare. It's our right as human beings for human dignity, but it's also our right because our fucking everybody that came before us, all the way back to those that were enslaved to build this country, to our ancestors who worked as regular working people in this fucking country to build up everything, including those hospitals, all the wealth extracted from us when we pay taxes to this fucking system for our whole working lives and our parents' whole working lives and their parents' whole working lives, to build up a society that could have a healthcare system at all. And then for a couple people to come in and say, hold on. We're taking all this over and you got to pay us to enter. No, this is our society. These are our institutions. We could survive just fine without this parasitic class of overlords extracting money from us at every fucking turn. They could not survive one fucking day without us. There's a general strike in this country of just key industries for one fucking day, their entire system goes away. If every CEO of every company was raptured into hell tomorrow, sure, there'd be a kind of messy transition, but we'd be just fucking fine. Medium and long term, just fucking fine. This is our society. This world is the world of working people society that have made the wealth and resources over generations upon generations upon generations to build this civilization possible in the first place. And we reject the idea that a small group of already incredibly rich people can come in, take ownership of everything, extract our labor at work for profit, extract our rent money at home for profit, extract our fucking whatever little money we have left over after that for the possibility of accessing healthcare. We reject it. We reject a system premised on this exploitation, extortation, this murderous, disgusting system that murders people abroad and wags its finger in the face of regular working people when they have a fucking cathartic chuckle in the face of somebody who has made their lives miserable and materially worse. We reject that whole system. And we do not apologize. And this guy or girl or whoever the fuck it turns out to be, for whatever their intentions turn out to be, is a folk hero. And this is a moment in time that we can leverage to make these grievances more known, to scare the people who want to keep this system in place. Literally, I think it does scare them a little bit. Maybe not all of them. People in other industries, like that's the healthcare industry, we do something different. I don't have to be that worried. But I don't know. If I was the CEO of another healthcare company that had a fucking large denial of claim rate, I might be looking over my shoulder a little bit. And that's good. We live in fear every fucking day of getting sick, of our rent going up, of not being able to afford food or medicine for our families. Maybe they can live in fear for a little bit sometime too, right? Maybe they can look over their shoulder once in a while. Billions of dollars, drivers, nannies, cooks, living life of luxury and comfort on the backs of millions of people at home and abroad. Maybe they can live with a little bit of stress once in a while. And cry me a river if that bothers you. We don't care. One of the greatest tweets of all time came from one Karl Marx. He says, "We have no compassion for you, and we ask no compassion from you. When our turn comes, we will not apologize for the terror." Now, our time hasn't come. This is a one-off incident, and it should be understood as such, right? No real change is going to come about from a one-off instance, but our celebrations bother them. It disturbs them, and they should be bothered, and they should be disturbed. And when our time really comes, when we really get a chance at power, we're going to use it mercilessly in favor of the working people of this planet and against those who spent the last couple of centuries brutalizing, murdering, extorting, and exploiting those that we love. Love and solidarity.
Jerusalem bells are ringing. I feel my sin, I'm sinking.